Hey there, welcome back guys. Congratulations. You finished the Build Your Own Drone series, the Mobula 8 series on how to build your own little tiny whoop, micro drone, whatever you want to call it, but it works. And in this video, we're just gonna go over everything that you might have gone through if you decide to do this again, some troubleshooting techniques that might work right for you. So without any further ado, let's get started. Let's cover everything. So as you can see, I made some changes to the drone. So if you have to take it apart again, you want to label. Don't use permanent marker. You could use marker that's washable. And I put FF because that's front facing. Okay, and this way you know if you take it apart or you need to get under the chip, you know which way the front is and the back is, and the you always want the gimbal facing FF, front facing. If you put it the other way, and it's not the end of the world, but it can be a nightmare when trying to reconfigure the motors again, because you'd have to rotate them all so that they spin in the direction. And of course, if you put it on wrong, you would still have to change the propellers too, because they're not going to be in the order that they need to be. So that's why, as you can see, that's that way, right? I mean, that's this way, and the other one's that way. And if you flip it over and put it together wrong, it's not going to be correct. Anyway, but that's another story. So let me just go over some of the settings that I had some trouble with when I flashed it again. There's a link to the GitHub repository. So if you don't want to change the settings, you can just flash it, but you can only flash it with this chip. Okay, I'm using the beta FPV chip that goes into the Pavo Pico. All right, knowing that, and moving forward, don't update it. See, if I go up, it goes up. If I go down, it goes down. If I go right, it goes right. So you want to check those settings too. All right, and make sure that the drone is doing everything it's supposed to, because if it doesn't lift off and take off, it could be that the accelerometer needs to be calibrated, or the reset the Z axis, or your propellers are on wrong, or your motors are spinning in the wrong way. So if your drone goes flip, that means there's something wrong with the motors. But there's another video I have on that. There'll be a link in the description on how to reset your motors. Now, if you reset the motors, right, I'll start with the ports, and then this way you guys can see the settings. This is a setting for this chip. Remember, the chip's the link in the description. It's the beta FPV. You can just Google that. You type the name in, that'll come up. Here's the configuration. You can take a screenshot of this, right? Because you have the board and sensor alignment for this chip. All right, and this is how it is. If you follow along in the video, the chip is laying this way, the props are this way. So if you followed everything, you shouldn't have to change it, or just leave it as is, as long as these numbers match. And the only way these numbers will match and the drone will work is if you followed everything in the video. Okay, but if you change the direction of it, you know, flipped it over, did it another way, then you just calibrate it accordingly. But there'll probably be another video on that. You'll have to find somewhere else online. Maybe Broadwell or Drone Cams has a really good community. All right, that will help you. Knowing that, moving forward, all this is activated here. I'm just going to scroll. You want to make sure OSD, on-screen display, is there, so you can see everything in your goggles. That doesn't always work, to be honest with you, but hold on one second. I will show you a cheat sheet that'll be in the description. Now, if you don't see your text in the goggles, take this code right here, right, copy it, and then paste it into the CLI. What you do is you paste it in this little text box, paste it, and then you type save afterwards, and hopefully that'll work. Now, if that doesn't work, what you would do is you go back. We're just going to connect here. Configuration. Because remember, I was just talking about OSD right here. So once that switches on, if you don't see anything, and then what you would do is, if that doesn't work, you would go here, presets, right? And you see right here, you see HD, but if you don't see it, you would just type this in, HD, and then see it's right there, OSD for FPV DJI O3. So this video is O3 air unit build, all right? And then hopefully when you go here, right, when you go into OSD, because remember we turned it on, you should see this here, which you probably will, but it'll be in HD, which means the screen is going to be wider. right? And then you'll see HD here, but by default you may not see it. You might see auto, PAL, NTC, and that's it. And you're like, wait, where's HD? So again, if that doesn't, turn it on, check, see if it's here. If it's not, do the search in the presets and then look for HD and then add it and then come back here and then select it there, and it should be there after that. If it's not there after that, it should be. All right, knowing that, and moving forward, I'm just going to go down again, have a look at everything. Okay, here we got these rates from one of our viewers slash subscribers who shared this. Oh, you should also see this here. So we don't have a battery connected, but you would see a battery here, and another way to see the battery here is to see onboard ADC. That's for this video. Now the drone might have another drop menu selection, but this is for here. Okay, and then this is a voltage setting for the 2S battery. Now the milliamps might change if you have a 3S battery, so check and change accordingly, because this will create a better flight time and streamline the what do they call it, battery anxiety experience, so that you know when to land your drone. All right, so that was presets. PID tuning I left, but the only thing I changed was this here, the throttle mid to 50, so it's not so bullet time like your Quicksilver. You know, it's nice and not so intense. You find a number that works for you, but these work, and as you can see, you'll see at the end of this how it works out. All right, throttle limit I set to 100, throttle expo at 40, and that'll give you like a nice flight. Okay, if it's too fast, change the numbers, but it shouldn't be, because my dream was to slow down the drone, not make it faster. All right, knowing that and moving forward, receiver. Now the only way to get your receiver to work, remember this is DJI. Okay, everything's going to be plug and play, except for the build part. Serial UART and S-Bus. Okay. Oh, but one more thing I have, and then you just move your controllers here and see if they work. But back to the HD part for the OSD and the goggles. All right, so when you're in ports, right, see UART 1 is off, this is UART 4, right? That's for the goggle experience. So see here, UART 4. So when you go to presets and you type in HD and this shows up, you press it, and then you go here, and then you're going to select here, use display port UART 4, because that's what the config, and then it'll push. So knowing that, moving forward, I'm going to click close because it already works for me. And then let's see, back to the rates again. Try it. It's not in bullet time. It'll work well. You can create another rate on top of the default rates. This way you don't change the existing rates and just add this. You have different profiles you can add here, so just add it to a profile. Receiver, again, that's where we were. This has got to be S-Bus and UART, otherwise you're not going to get it working. All right, now modes, I'll go over them with you. This is what I chose for my keys. All right, UART 2 will arm it, which I believe it's on this side. So if I press the toggle switch there, it's gonna arm the drone, which means start it, basically start. All right, which is right there, this button. Okay, angle mode is going to be here. I chose 1, so that'll change the modes, whether it's angle, horizon, and you switch it. Beginner, if you're new to this, do angle. The drone's just gonna fly nice and smooth. It's not gonna be all, you can't do any flips. And if you're not ready for flips, leave it in angle. Okay. Horizon, similar, but just, you know, I'm not ready for that too, so just leave it. Beeper, you choose the key, and you can see the keys move as you're configuring. There's a troubleshooting video I have. Watch that one too. There'll be a link in the description. And then flip over after crash. I've never flipped. I usually go retrieve the drone and go get it, so I don't really know how that works, or if it even does on this particular drone. I press the button and nothing happens, but I leave it there because it works as a backspace, and it resets the screen. Like if you have a lot of text and metrics on there, you're like, how do I get rid of that? I just press the key and backspace it out, and then you can arm again that way. Arm again, okay? Arm again. No pun intended. And then I believe, just to make sure, the motors. So you might have trouble configuring the motors. There's a video, I'll leave a link in the description that'll show you how to configure the motors. But after I flashed the chip again, I couldn't even use the own technique that I created when I had gone here, motor direction, and then I clicked I understand. When I clicked individually, it let me go through the process, but nothing pushed to the motors. So the way around that, you could either use the wizard, right? And then you start motors, follow it that way, and then you turn the motors in the direction that you want. Or reorder motors doesn't really do justice, to be honest with you. Motor direction seems to be the one that streamlines it. The wizard. Use the wizard. Everybody wants to see the wizard, because reorder the motors when you turn it on, and then when you press start, it's a different. Sometimes you have to finagle it and see. As long as you reorder the motors, where it's like 1 is normal, right? 2 is in reverse, 3 is in reverse, and then 4 is normal. As long as you get that configuration, whichever process works well, because as you saw, I think I shared it on the live stream. It didn't work that time, and then it's just, maybe it's because I'm using Betaflight 10.10.10. It's possible, but eventually one of the 3 or 4 methods will definitely get your motors spinning in the right direction. Okay, just as long as you know 1 is normal, 2 is reverse, 3 is reverse, and 4 is normal in their spinning rotation. Once you have that down pat, the drone will lift up. If it flips or something, then you'll figure it out. All right, or just text me in the comments section, and I usually put together a live video walking everyone through that process, but we already have a video for that. Okay, and I believe when you're done, so you decide what goes here. This is what I have for my window. It's not like you have to have this. Some people have the battery and some other metrics. Some people have it full to the works, and you decide whatever you can handle. Except for me, I definitely want this to be an Imperial, so that and I definitely don't need the longitude and latitude, because I didn't install a GPS on here. I do have a video where I installed a GPS on a unit, but not here. And then I believe the other one is core temperature, which you want, because once the drone reaches a certain temperature, so put it on Fahrenheit, maybe right here, so you can watch it in the middle. I think 180 degrees Fahrenheit, it will shut off. It'll overheat, unfortunately. So watch that core temperature, because that's going to make or break on whether or not you go out and buy a new drone, or you'll be back in the lab again repairing your old drone. Okay, I mean your old drone, new drone, or whatever build, whatever stage you are in your building experience. All right, and then we save it, and I believe that's it. Now we can disconnect and go out and have a nice, happy flight. Anyway, I hope this video helped you in streamlining your experience with the Build a Drone workshop that might be just right for you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for other videos. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.